bring back pen and paper. So, last November, so November 2024, about 9 months ago, I was sitting in my room and I was watching this YouTube video, and the guy who was in the video was talking about this thing called morning pages. And basically what morning pages is that every morning when you wake up, within the first sort of 30 minutes of your day, you should get out a pen and paper. He said you could do it on anything else. You could, do it on Apple Notes or a Google Doc or a laptop or whatever. But he said pen and paper is the best. And write down something, whether it's you do journaling, whether it's some ideas, whether it's a concept, whatever it is, just write something down at the start of the day. Get your creative energies going. And so I thought, that's a good idea. And so I got a notebook like this one, just a regular A5 notebook. And that just right then and there I did the same thing. Now it was probably about 3 p.m, but I did morning pages anyway. Then for the next 2 months, for the rest of November and throughout December, I was doing this on and off, not really sticking to it, not really doing it more than, twice a week. But then we get to January. At this point, my family and I had moved houses, and I was in a new environment. I had a new setup, I had my own room now. And so I decided, I'm going to sort of lock in. I started a few new habits, I was building this great routine, I was getting super consistent with content. And I go, I'm going to do my morning pages. And so I add morning pages to my new habit tracker, to my routine, and I start doing morning pages almost every single day. Since then, it's currently July 2025, it's almost August 2025, I think today's the last day of July. Over the last 7 months of doing morning pages consistently, over the last 9 months since I started doing morning pages, it has been incredibly helpful, incredibly transformative. Now the main reason I do it is because I'm a content creator. I have 3 YouTube channels, I have an Instagram, I have a TikTok, I create content, and so I need ideas. I need to have things to say and do and talk about in my videos. And so for me, one of the biggest things is I want to post so much content, I want to make so much content, that one of the biggest constraints isn't actually making it. The 2 biggest constraints are editing the videos, because that takes time, but also thinking of ideas, having things to talk about. And so once I started doing morning pages where I'd get my notebook, I did it this morning as well, I'd get my notebook and I'd write down, originally it was 5 ideas, then it became 10 ideas. And I just sit there every morning and write down 5 or 10 ideas for videos. Then, later that day, I would generally always have 1 or 2 or 3 good ideas that I could make, that I could turn into videos. Since then, I've done my morning pages on and off. There's been some times I've done it every single day for a few weeks or a month or 2 months, and there's been some times where I haven't done it for weeks at a time, like just recently. And so we get to this morning, and I stayed up late last night. I didn't go to sleep till like 11:30, which is unusual. I got up at about 8 o'clock. I was sitting at the kitchen table eating my breakfast. It's probably 9:30 at this point. And I go, what? I need to write down ideas for today's videos. I'm going to go out and film. I need some ideas. And so I go and I get this notebook, which I've had since like February, March, get it out, and I write down these ideas. And I wrote down 12 ideas, plus I started writing down the idea for a short film I'm going to make. And so I wrote down 13 ideas while eating breakfast, while watching a YouTube video, in a span of about 20 minutes. Now here I am, sitting here, filming this video because of those ideas that I wrote down. Before I started filming this video, I've been sitting here for about 20 minutes trying to think of ideas, trying to find ideas, trying to decide what to film the video about, and just not knowing what to talk about, and not filming it because I was like, it's not a good idea, it's a bad idea, should it? But then I go, morning pages. So I go to my backpack that's right here, get out the notebook, read through the ideas, idea. So, although you can do morning pages or writing down ideas in anything, a Word doc, Apple Notes, I normally use my Apple Notes if I'm on the go, bring back pen and paper. I highly recommend using pen and paper to write down your ideas, to generate ideas. Pen and paper, it's sort of therapeutic, it's calming, it calms you down, it gets you in a more creative, calmed, ready to go state rather than typing on your phone, right? So bring back pen and paper. I personally have been using my notebooks a lot more recently. I've been doing my journaling. I've been using I have a regular A4 notebook like this, just bigger, that I've been writing down my new habit trackers and schedules in. I've got this one, I write ideas in. I've got another one which I write out like my to-do lists and my work blocks in. Like, I'm using pen and paper a lot now, and my whiteboards, purely because of the state that it puts you in. If you're on your phone or your laptop, it's helpful. But just the energy boost and the vibes that sounds weird. It doesn't sound like it's very true, but the vibes, the energy you will get from using pen and paper, writing things down, actually sitting down, writing, is super, super amazing. It's awesome. And not just because it's so good, but also because most people nowadays don't use pen and paper. Most people don't write anything. They don't have to do handwriting. Since about COVID, before COVID, you had to write things. Maybe you were still in school. I know before COVID, I was in like the 5th grade, right? So I was writing things down. But before COVID, we'd write things down, we'd do to-do lists, all this sort of stuff you do, you generally write it down, right? Since COVID, everyone has become online, right? Everything's online, your to-do lists are online, your schedule's online, your calendar's online, your reminders online, your clock's online, you check the time on your phone, you do everything online, which is, it's good, it's productive, it's helpful, but it's also a lot of distractions and a lot of bad things it will do to you. One of which being you lose the lack of actually doing things, because you do everything, most things you need to do, you can do on one device. And so there's no change, there's no sort of different environments and different energies. But if you're gonna use a notebook, pen and paper, it's gonna be much better. So that's enough ranting for this video. Use pen and paper, I guarantee you, especially someone who wants to be creative or become more creative, it will help you immensely. Have an amazing day. If you're interested in joining a community of young men aged 13 to 21 chasing greatness in any area of their life, the link is in the channel description to my page, School Community. Other than that, have an amazing day. If you like this video, leave a comment on whether you do or don't use pen and paper to write down your ideas. Have an amazing day. Subscribe. See you tomorrow.